A lot of people are losing interest in their work right now, and they're hiding it well. They still go to the office, they're still showing up, but inside something has gone quiet. You might be seeing this in someone close to you. You might be feeling it yourself on the days you don't tell anyone. Either way, this conversation is for you. My guest is Martin Lesperance, a Canadian keynote speaker, the author of the book called Inspire. He delivers about 100 keynotes a year across more than 20 countries. His audience have started calling him the Simon Sinek of Quebec, and for good reasons. By the end of the conversation, Martin will share 4 steps anyone can start applying today that will change their lives. Martin, by the end of this conversation, what are people going to learn?
We are in 2026, Gabe, and people feel it out there. People are burning out. Engagement is dropping. Pressure is rising, and most organizations are using the same tools: more pressure, more control, more urgency, until leaders are exhausted, teams disconnect, and humans quietly quit. That path is broken. And with the Inspire framework that we can share today, that is so simple, you can activate your team, your human innovation. You can foster engagement, increase performance without the burnout, have stronger relationships and better conversations. And this is quite simple to do and quite simple not to do.
Can't wait to hear how exactly you avoid it or do it. And before we get into that, I want to start with those things that you mentioned, the current reality, the problems that are in most organizations out there and in our real life situations. Why is that happening? Why people quote unquote quit? And sometimes they truly quit.
Yeah, this is a global situation right now. Engagement scores inside organizations have never been so low right now for various reasons. I mean, a couple of years ago, remember that science fiction movie that we were part of called The Pandemic? This enabled here, there, and everywhere, everyone to question themselves into why they're doing what they're doing. It also stressed some organizations into providing and performing, either taking care of their people or taking care of their numbers. And I think that right now we are living the fallout of this incredible situation that we went through, where people now realize that sometimes, well, we hear this all the time: a job is just a job. I work to live, not I live to work, which was way back then. And some organizations out there, we could hear them during the pandemic say, you know what, you're lucky you have a job. But when I go from organization to organization, Gabe, I'm always puzzled in the fact that some organizations out there are still doing it for the numbers. That's the end all game. That if you ask him, what is your why? Because we'll talk about the why and purpose. They tell me, well, we need to make the numbers. We need to make the shareholders happy. And I say, okay, and you want me to engage your team and motivate your team. Well, no wonder they're not motivated. The why and purpose of some organizations is having them pay right now. And they're paying the big price. And stress is coming from all sides. And when I talked to my son a couple of years ago, what do we do after dinner at night with the kids? We do homework. So we're studying the history of mankind. We open up the books and we're studying Homo sapiens. And with Justin, we found in literature that what enabled us to survive through all these years is our capacity to create social links, to stick together, to sing, to dance, to create tribes. That's what enabled us to survive through all these years. And that's when Justin looks at me and he says, Dad, we have a problem. I said, most of my friends are inside my headset. And Justin used to be a gamer. So I said, yeah, you're right. And he said, it's the same thing with you, Dad. I said, what's up? And he said, well, where are your friends? And I'm like, don't tell all my new friends from Gabe's podcast that I don't have friends. But he said, last year, Dad, we did 4 moves. We sold the house. He moved out to college. Our oldest moved to the US. And grandma also moved. And he said, you have thousands of friends on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and nobody showed up to move boxes. And I said, yeah, you're right. So why am I telling you this? Our capacity to create social links is being pressured from all directions right now, whether it's you're under pressure every day during work hours, even when you arrive at home, you actually work with tight deadlines here, there, and everywhere, which adds stress on top of it. You actually need to let go of some of the ways you were doing it in the past. And we tell our kids, you need to learn from your mistakes. Now, do we learn from our mistakes? So the pressure that is coming from all sides is forcing us to let go of these connections. I mean, when was the last time, Gabe, when you went to the store and you know that the cashier was scanning your items and looking down at the items, and you look at the other, nobody's talking to one another anymore.
Exactly.
And you're looking down, and so most of even if you try to interact with the cashier, sometimes they don't even want to connect with you, not because they don't want to, because they're just not used to connecting anymore. Most of the time, they're dealing with customers that are stuck on their phone, and then they're asking them to pay, but they're not listening. And so people are completely disconnected. They're very connected digitally, but humanly, people are completely disconnected right now. And we need to bring this back. We need to bring this connection back to, well, in my world, to the world of work, because that's where I go into, and that's where I do my business, into the corporate world. But we need to bring this connection back.
We need, because without it continue to isolating ourselves. And I love the name that you attribute to the pandemic, this scientific movie, because it was like this, and it disconnected us. We already started to disconnect since the appearance of the smartphone, but that put a huge toll, because there was literally physical isolation between us. And then, of course, personally, I love remote work movement, but at the same time, even that at the next level of disconnection, because of course it's more convenient to work from home in your own schedule and so on, has a lot of benefits. But the big downside is the fact that you don't connect human to human anymore. And since we have all these elements into play, like some that are beyond our control, others are, we have some, let's say, words into applying them, but most of them are like, at least from my outside perspective, I'm like, how can I control these stressors or these elements that are affecting my world? And I know that you have a framework, the Inspire framework, that there it's smart how you call it, like 4 no so surprising secrets to be inspiring. And can you go through it? That's the solution?
Yeah, well, right before we get into these not so surprising secrets, I'd like to use an image with you. Okay,
Please.
Does it ever happen where your day is going and someone crosses your path and they will influence the rest of your day? for good or
For bad
for bad.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So that means that all the people that cross our path, we have the power to influence their day for good or for bad. So what are we going to do? And some people have this, I call this black ball of energy inside them: frustration, stress, anxiety, sadness. They don't feel like it, and you can feel it. And some have this 365 days a year inside of them. And if ever it's one of the listeners right now, please know that there are people around you that are just waiting to sit down and talk with you. But maybe you're more like maybe Gabe and I, where we're more of the yellow smiley emoji that we use when we text one another. Maybe you're more that type of person. But even then, I mean, sometimes even some people cross our path, and we're drifting to the dark side of the force, and we end up with these black ball of energy. So either you bring them back at home at night and with the family, and then you unpack this on the kitchen table. Well, good luck for family business. Either you do that, or you decide to change that trend, because this black ball of energy, it hurts, it's painful inside, so we end up wanting to give it to others, get rid of it. So either you walk around with that black ball of energy, or you decide to walk around with this one. And this is the
Love it.
yellow smiley ball that you've seen everywhere on my videos, Gabe. And that's a question of choice. And some people at the end, sometimes of my show, they come and see me and say, "Hey, Martin, sometimes we don't have the choice." And I'm saying, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not saying that you get to choose everything that comes inside your adventure, but at least you can choose how you face each of these events inside your adventure. You get to choose that. The only person that has the permission to choose your attitude is you, no one else. So what are you going to do? And that's how, through the years, Gabe, I've come up with these 4 not so surprising secrets that you were alluding to. And they are not so surprising because, well, you'll see, they're not so surprising. The marketing team didn't brainstorm a lot to find the name of that. They're simple. And even then, at the end of the show, sometimes people come and see me and they say, "But Martin, it's sort of simple, your framework." And I say, "Yeah, who said it needs to be complicated? Who said so? Bring them on. I want to talk to them." Because the easier things are, the easier it is to repeat. And the more they are easy to repeat, it becomes a habit. And a habit at some point becomes part of your identity. So that's how the 4 not so surprising secrets came about, Gabe.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because indeed, sometimes we think like, oh, we are out of control, right? But we are in the control of the reaction that you have with the negative behavior maybe others have towards us, or their reactions. And often, obviously, it's just the reflection of what they're struggling with and so on. But if you reply back with a smile, or even when I hear this thing recently, like, what happens to you how you react to a negative, I don't know, throwing something at you, how will you react? And like, just pause, or ask again, can you please repeat that? And often people won't repeat the same negative thing to you.
I saw that post yesterday also from that
So it was a recent
from
one,
that
right? Yeah.
lawyer. That he talks about how do you reflect on someone who says something
The guy that was on
mean
Stephen Bartlett's
about
show.
you, and the idea is to pause, let it sink in, and maybe ask them, "Could you repeat that again?" And all of a sudden, the person realizes what's happening. And through life, these 4 not so surprising secrets are easy to do, Gabe. They're also easy not to do. It's not because it's simple that it's easy. And that is the thing, and that is the main challenge through these four not so surprising secrets, because we get caught up in the moment of that first choice that we get to make. Well, maybe we did drift to the dark side of the force and we're talking with Darth Vader and so on. So, but we made that split decision, and this is life, and we're human, by the way. And I'm not saying that we never drift, but sometimes you can't just stay there, stuck there. And that's how the four not so surprising secrets came about.
And can't wait to dive into them. But before, I just want to share a small example what's
Please.
happened to when you use simple things to change, like to have a ripple effect on all the other things in your life. For example, I struggle recently with having a clear sleep routine.
Yeah.
To kind of go to bed around the same hour, wake up at around the same hour. And in theory, it's simple. Just wake up at the same time every day, go to sleep at the same time every night, right? But being so simple was quite complex to put into practice. But slowly, I managed to do that. And obviously, the positive effects are tremendous, like energy level, everything, like mood, how I react to others, and all the other stuff. So I just want to share that because often, as you know, like, and as you share, these small tweaks that you can make in our real life seem simple, and we're like, I won't bother with that. It's too simple. I can easily go to sleep or put my alarm and whatever. But in reality, like, can take a bit of time to implement.
And you know what, Gabe? Compound effect does not always is not only dedicated to banking and when you invest money. Compound effect also can build up to these small habits that you talked about, these small things, these domino effect. You know what? I mean, as an example, brushing your teeth once, does it really do something except that maybe you get that fresh feeling because they put the peppermint flavor in there? But I mean, no, I mean, it's the compound effect of doing it X times a day, X times and every day. It's not like the day prior to the dentist, you can compensate the months of not brushing and you brush for 7 hours. And this is compound effect. And this the same thing with all these small habits that we have on a daily basis, which I call the not so surprising secrets, but it's the systems that we live by that will and that can have a huge effect at the end of the year. On a daily basis, doesn't make a big difference. At the end of the year, it's huge.
Exactly. Let's dive into it. I'm super curious. What's the first one?
Well, the first one came about a couple of years ago when my friend JF comes to see me and he says, Martin, would you like to join our cycling team? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. And he says, perfect. We're riding 1,000 kilometers. I'm like, what the? Whoa. And he says, no, don't worry. We're going to do this as a team. And I said, no, JF, sometimes I say yes too quickly. I can't do this. And he says, please join in. We also partner with a school and we inspire them to have healthy habits. And I'm like, okay. As soon as I got that we were giving back through that adventure, I'm like, I'm in. And that's when I joined. It's called Le Grand Défi Pierre, the big challenge. 1,000 kilometers where we ride our bikes, we raise money. So far, we've raised over $300,000 to give back to
Nice.
our school that our team is sponsoring. And the idea is there are 5 riders in your team, and you start riding your bike. I mean, helicopters in the sky, motorcycle escorting us, and all of a sudden, we're rolling, and my hands are on the handlebars, and emotion is taking possession of my body, Gabe, and inside my head starts rolling the eternal question, and I'm sure you have that question going in your head sometimes. Why did I get into this? Why did I say yes? And that's when we're rolling and rolling, and we passed the first finish line of the first stage, and I'm in tears, not just because it hurts, because I found the answer to the question of why I'm doing this. And I don't know, Gabe, do you have kids?
No.
No, and I'm sure that some of the people online right now listening to us have kids, and I could ask them, have you ever lost nights of sleep because of your kids? And most of the people would raise their hands. I say, was it worth it? Yes or no? And most of the people would say, of course, yes. And sometimes we look at them and say, I should have slept. But anyhow, as soon as you realize that you're doing this for someone else, then it's worth the sacrifice. It's worth the effort. It's worth the let's roll up the sleeve and go to it. And this is what I call live your why. You know, your why, your purpose. And a why does not point inward. Because sometimes when I sit down with presidents of organizations, they call me in and I say, they're like, please engage my team. Let's motivate them. Let's raise performance and engagement. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Why do you do what you do? And that's when they tell me, Gabe, well, we're here to make the numbers. We have a very lofty goal, and we need to make the shareholders happy. And I'm like, okay. Is there a higher mission, a belief or something? Because, I mean, money and results is a result of whatever you're going to do. So is there something we're striving for? Or who are we helping? Because a why does not point inward. Dollars are pointing inward. It's for us. What points inward are your passions. I don't know what you're passionate about, Gabe, but I'm passionate about reading, cycling, and golden doodles. I love golden doodles. But there's nothing in it for you except that these are my passion. A why points outward. A why is to give, to provide, to bring together, to inspire. This is a why. So when I sit down with organizations, I have them realize that it's not numbers that they're calculating. It's not lenses that they're selling. It's not widgets. There are people at the other end of that. And these are the people we're actually helping. We're changing lives. We're enabling. We're facilitating. And as soon as you realize inside your career that you are there to serve others, not yourself. Some have it the other way around where they serve themselves and hopefully somebody can benefit from that. No. And then we see them on the news. But as soon as you realize that you are there to serve others, I'm telling you, something shifts inside. And this is the first not so surprising secret, to actually live your why. Why are you doing what you're doing?
That's so interesting, because often we think like, let's take the example of, as you mentioned, like a business owner or someone that in the executive or chairman or someone, I need to hit the numbers, or I need to be successful to be in this position and so on. But all the big leaders in all the big corporations or successful businesses, they succeed because they thought about their customers, the outside people, not the internal revenue, all the things that can benefit if they do their job in their way properly. And those were the companies that stand the test of time. Like, look at Apple. Like, they were obsessed about how the product not just looks, but how people use their products. They wanted and they spread the word. They become advocates for the company rather than just, I don't know, launching. I think BlackBerry was like an example of a company that didn't talk about who is gonna use the screen to type on it. Like, we'll stick to our keyboards, and instead of actually going out in the world and solving a real problem that people are facing, like those small keys in which you have to like to type.
Well, inspiring leaders and inspiring organizations, they think they act and they communicate in a similar fashion, and they start with why. And for the people out there that know Simon Sinek, he modeled it and he wrote books and he went around the world talking about this model where most of these people, they start with why, then they go to how they do it, and here is what I do. And as an example, when people ask me, what do you do? I never say I'm a keynote speaker, because I mean, there are gazillions of keynote speakers out there. How do you do it? Well, I give talks here, there, and everywhere, and that's it. No, when people ask me, what do you do? I say, you know what? I have a dream. I have a dream that people go out there and they actually love their job. And they say, love their job. I say, yeah, I think that if I bring humor and a bit of interaction and some emotion, barriers will go down. This is how I do it. And I deliver a keynote. So I start with why. And that's how people sometimes are inspired, because they see that if ever they follow you, we will live that dream together. And inside any organization, we can do the same.
Yeah, absolutely, because you lead with people, and when people love their job, the mission of the organization, the why, it's getting applied into the real world. Because otherwise, they're just there for the money, for the next paycheck, and they won't dedicate themselves to the mission. And it's so often overlooked, because nowadays it's all about growth, exponential growth, but few organizations think about their people, the people they are serving.
And Gabe, the more you are focused on why you do what you do, the end all person that benefits from it, the more you're going to have growth. The more you will reach your numbers, the higher the performance of the people inside the team. These are all results of focusing on the right thing.
Exactly.
It's simple. Not simple, easy to do, but it's simple. Why do you do what you do? And as soon as you realize that you are there to help others, I'm telling you, something shifts. And that is the first not so surprising secret, to live your why.
And the second?
The second, let's picture this. We are Saturday afternoon. We're getting ready around the kitchen island of your nice house. I know where you live, but maybe the world doesn't. So, we're preparing because our friends are coming over for dinner. But our good friends, not all the other friends, the really good friends that we always have a blast with, because we talk about everything and we reinvent the world. And sometimes discussions go up. But you know what? Sometimes someone is quiet, and I call her Julie, and Julie is quiet. And sometimes I turn to Julie and I say, Julie, what's up? And then she comes out with the point of view, with the viewpoint that clarifies everything. She has like the quote of the evening. And the only way that we would have known what Julie truly thinks, her viewpoint, is if we are present, if we are in the moment now. And it's the second not so surprising secret, it's to be present in the moment. Some people are stuck in the past. You know, back in my days, it used to be, yeah, okay, let's celebrate the past. Let's celebrate it. But at some point, you need to let it go. And some people are stuck in the future. And well, we won't know what's going to happen, and this and that, and the politics, and welcome to anxiety world. And at some point, you need to let it go. The only thing that truly exists right now is not the past. The past is an idea. The future is an idea. What truly exists now is this moment that we're having right now, you and I, and that we are having with all the listeners out there. This is the only true thing that exists. So you need to be there in the moment, be present. And the best gift you can give people around you and you can give yourself, it's to be present. And that's why present equals gift. So be present. That's the
And
second, not so surprising secret.
it's not so surprising, but in the same time, it's so hard, right? Like, because all those triggers and elements that you discussed at the beginning, the stress and everything, makes our minds often go into another place.
Yeah.
Our problems, our challenges, and especially in let's say in an organization, like a lot of people go there with their personal problems, and they're like, I won't focus now on my to-do list or whatever I have to do because I have problems at home, or I don't know, health problems or whatever, and they're clearly not present. How we deal with that? Like,
One of the tools right now that is destroying presence, and you see it everywhere, it's this tool,
yeah,
our
phone.
smartphone. If I would ask people listening right now to raise their hand if they have a smartphone, everyone would raise their hand. And how often do you see people that are together not really together because they're somewhere else? They're stuck somewhere with other people. And sometimes we tell our spouse or our friends, yeah, talk to me, I'm listening. And it's like, no, let it go. Let it go. I mean, way back then, not too long ago, in business meetings, we used to hear no laptops, close your laptops. Okay, no laptops anymore? No problem. I'm under the table on Marketplace shopping for patio furniture right now. So, I mean, people are stuck in this. And I'll give you a real life example. In Sweden, one of the doctors of a hospital where the natality is happening in the ward, they said that they took away these little plastic cribs that you can put the newborn in, sometimes. They took them out of all the rooms because mama and papa, the parents, are on their phone. They're leaving the newborns inside the cribs and they're on their phone. So at some point, and it's tough, Gabe, to realize that if we're all on the same drug, that we are addicted. It's tough to say that. It's tough to realize that, you know what? We are all addicted. And I'm not saying that you can quit it completely because lots of benefits from it. But we need to find a healthy, intelligent, smart way to use our smartphones because we've lost it. We've lost it.
Yeah, I think no matter the benefits of these devices, since they came into the world, speaking of like human connection, I heard someone, a professor from Harvard, they did a study and the disconnect happened in the same time when the smartphone was released. And even back then, the apps weren't as addictive as now, because now the short attention span, it's I think at all-time low because of the scrolling TikToks and Reels and so on. But even back then, the simple fact that you mentioned, like sitting on the phone while talking with someone instead of being present, made a disconnection. And it's sad, and I notice it in my life, and I have some healthy things in place right now, and some of them works, like simply not having it inside, even if it's closed. The fact that it's inside, I'm thinking about it. But if I put it somewhere I don't see it, I won't think about it.
Yeah. And we came up with rules, even at home, by the way, where in the kitchen, there are no phones. At the dining room table, there are no phones. And even with the kids, and some people say there is going to be a revolution. Yes, there was a revolution. They burnt everything down, but we painted again. And now we get to talk when we have dinner. And by the way, we now do the same thing with our friends. Because you know what? It's not only the kids that are always on their phone.
Exactly.
It's kids of all ages, by the way. And you just quoted a study from Harvard. I have one too, released in 2020, where they looked at what makes the best team player. Because when I go inside organizations, they say, Martin, we need to raise collaboration. Perfect. What makes the best team player? And we could think it's IQ, we could think it's problem solving, creativity. It's actually not. It's the capacity to recognize emotions inside the people around us. When you can pick up the emotion, how people you might think they're feeling, and stop for a moment and say, "Are you okay, Gabe? I see what's happening. Are you good with this?" As soon as you can pick up that, reverse that, when all of a sudden someone around you picks that up from you, you feel seen, you feel understood, you feel valued. And as soon as you feel seen, understood, and valued, all of a sudden, you are ready to go to the moon and back to raise performance, to be engaged. And the only way that you can pick up on the emotions from the people around you is by you being present in the moment now.
So true. So true. And yeah, it's fascinating how overlook is not so obvious secret, to be present, because often we think like we take things for granted. By being physically present, we assume like I'm there, I'm next to the person, I care, and so on. But are you truly there? Are you truly there listening? And like you described, paying attention to people's feelings and how they react and so on. Most of us aren't most of the time, and it's kind of sad. But in the same time, I'm glad there is solutions, and that's the role of inspiring, right? Because we need to show people, even by our own behaviors and the way we deal with, for example, let's say phone addiction. If you stay on the phone all the time, your employee will do the same. Your kids will do the same. But if they don't see you on the phone, they see you communicating, being present, interacting, at some point they'll feel like, oh shit, I should leave the phone away because I'm the only one on the phone.
The more you let yourself be inspired, the more you're going to become inspiring. At some point, it's going to transpire through you. But some people out there, and we know a few where, you know what, they know pretty much everything. They've done everything. They are like, if there is a definition of perfection, my picture must be beside in the dictionary. And actually, I'm sorry to say, and if that is the case of someone listening right now, I still love you, but you know what? I did check, and I even asked ChatGPT, were there ever two perfect people on this planet? And ChatGPT said no. So you know what? I'm sorry to say, it won't be either you or me, the two perfect people on this planet. So as soon as you let yourself be inspired, all of a sudden you become inspiring. And the only person that can judge if you are present, it's not yourself. It's the person you are with right now. So think about that. That's the second not so surprising secret. Be present.
Third, walk me through it.
The third one, well, in North America and in Canada, I'm from Montreal. You know, sometimes it's cold here. So when we go inside restaurants, there are two sets of doors at the entrance. So I'm going to a breakfast restaurant with Justin, my son, and I open up the first door and Justin walks in. And as I'm going in, you know, the bus of people leaving the restaurant is going out. So I'm holding the door. If ever you're looking for me during weekends, Gabe, I'm at the breakfast restaurant holding the door. So I'm holding the door. And out of 10 people, how many of these people do you think either gave me a smile or a thank you? How many of the 10? Throw your number.
Probably one.
Yeah. One gave me a smile, and I turned to this gentleman, and he has the belly out full of pancakes and waffles and all that stuff, and he laughs, and I say, thank you so much for your smile. I wasn't doing it for that, but you just warmed my heart. You just made my day. And he goes, and he's all happy, and we just made our day, one another. You should have heard the other 9 walking out. When they heard us say that, they looked at us and they said, you were just holding the door. Do we need to say thank you for everything? And, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, when did this get canceled? I think we were on a trip somewhere. We were in the Caribbean in an all-inclusive having pina coladas, Gabe. But something happened when we were there. They canceled gratitude. That's over. Saying thank you to one another, shouldn't that be part of the all-inclusive bracelet? I mean, saying thank you. So the third not so surprising secret, it's to be grateful, to show gratitude. I mean, seriously, yeah, I mean, gratitude is completely free. The more and the more you throw it out there, the more it comes back at you. It has a huge boomerang effect. So, and I'm not saying throw it out there to get some, but test it. You'll see. The more you recognize these small things around you, you're going to see your life will evolve, because our focus becomes our reality. It's a master Jedi that once said that, but true, it's true. I mean, if you want to look for the bad and the ugly and the problems and this and the challenges and the headwind, there's going to be plenty out there. If you're looking for fur, you're going to find fur. So at some point, what are you looking for? Show gratitude. Gratitude to the people around you, but also, Gabe, to yourself. Because like in the song from Coldplay, nobody said it was easy. No, it won't be easy. And sometimes we don't get it the first time. And sometimes we need to start over again. And sometimes well, if you're like me, do you sometimes talk to yourself, Gabe, in there?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, and you're as creative. No, you're more creative than I am, Gabe. Do you always throw yourself flowers in there?
Yeah, sometimes, but not too often, I would say.
Yeah, because the reality is that, we're pressed for a meeting and then we go and then we get on the highway and it's slow and then your head goes somewhere and suddenly you miss your highway exit. And in the car, you're going a whoopsie daisy, but in your head, isn't it more like, fuck this shit, I'm such a loser, why am I doing this? And why do we talk to ourselves this way? I mean, seriously, Gabe, do you talk to others the same way you talk to yourself? Yes or no? No. I was hoping for no. And yet there are people sometimes in the organizations I meet where they say, no, I say pretty much everything. I have no filter. And then the room turns around and say, yeah, we know. But you know what? I think gratitude starts with ourselves. Give yourself a bit of grace. And as soon as you do that to yourself, you will start to do it with others, because people around us, you know what? They're not perfect either. I mean, people around you don't do it the same way you do. And people around you sometimes will miss. And I'm sorry to say, but say, and this is the beauty of love. You fall in love with someone that has some flaws that you sort of like after a bit, and they do the same thing with you, because, by the way, you might have a flaw or two. So
Exactly.
and this is the beauty of love, and it's a mindset that is called wabi sabi. And as soon as you get to find beauty in imperfection, then all of a sudden you can be grateful with the people around you, with the things around you, and with yourself. And this is the third not so surprising secret, Gabe. It's to be grateful. And sometimes we forget to do it with one another because we are just pressed to go to the next objective. Next objective. We forget to celebrate. We forget to look at one another. We forget to be grateful.
Yeah, unfortunately. And I'll say that be your best friend, because speaking of being grateful to yourself, it's so often, yeah, we often treat ourselves as the worst possible friend. Yeah, and I want to share something because I don't want to say that us in the Western culture we are doing things wrong, but if you ever travel and you've been to China, you've been to a lot of parts of the world, and you saw the how they behave and how they react to things. And for example, Thailand, it's a reason why it's called the land of smiles, because people are grateful if you enter their shop or you pass their pet, they're smiling back to you. Same with those in Bali, and people say like, oh, why you like, because in my nomad journey I spent a lot of time on that island in Bali, and they were like, why do you keep going back there? Because I feel good. And I don't feel good because it's a tropical climate only or nice food and landscapes and so on. No, but people there, I haven't seen someone like screaming at each other in traffic. If they cross their path, they're like, okay, it's okay, pass on and so on. They smile all the time. And that behavior has an effect on you. And you start yourself inspiring others to do the same and so on. So it's so easy to not see that if you don't go to these type of places where people are still being grateful to each other and to themselves. And yeah, it's, I'll say, it's not surprising, but in the same time, like the other two, like it's overlooked, unfortunately, the third one.
It is, and we can bring that to our organizations. It's completely free. It doesn't need a raise in salary and bonuses and working hours. And no, I mean, bring to a lot of organizations out there have all these programs, Bravo Awards, congratulations, nomination, and this and when I talk to them, I say, "Oh, you have this program?" They say, "Yeah, but it's not really used." And because of what? Because of time. We don't take the time to do it. Now people say, yeah, but I'm pressed with time. Yeah. See if you can inject a few minutes a week into being grateful to the people around you, what it's going to do with the output at the end of the day, the week, the month. And we talked earlier about the compound effect at the end of the year, where people will not just be happy, engaged, and motivated, but they will become ambassadors. They will talk about your organization as this is the place to work at. There was just a survey done in Canada, very alarming survey where close to 30% of the people would not recommend the place they work at. It's crazy. I mean, so how can you foster and change that into having everyone in the team be part of that movement? And that's why it's the third not so surprising secret. Be grateful.
And I cannot wait for the fourth.
The fourth one is, you've heard that before. Life is short. Time flies. Can we at least have fun? And the fourth not so surprising secret, Gabe, is to actually have fun. And I'm not saying that we put the red nose of a clown and that we go on tour and we do comedy clubs. But if ever you feel like it, we'll take the bus and we'll tour the world. But that's not having fun. I mean, having fun is realizing that, you know what, sometimes we have headwinds, and sometimes we have challenges. Sometimes it's a crunch period during the year. We have more working hours. We're missing people in the team. I mean, there are all sorts of realities in the working world where sometimes it's tougher. Well, you know what? The only way that we'll get through that is if we do it together. Is if, as you said it a bit earlier, during the pandemic, we were isolated, but we also joined forces into all sorts of things. And I think we can do the same still in having fun, in doing what we're doing. But I have to admit that there are people that wake up on a daily basis on the wrong side of the bed. 365 days a year, they're on the wrong side of the bed. And you know what? They transform into this hospital resistant bacteria. And they come to work and they try to contaminate you and infect the other, and everything is a problem. Too much of this, not enough of that. I'm going on vacation. They're just like, okay, let it go. You go on vacation finally. But some people are stuck on the dark side of the force. At some point, you gotta let it go. And I'm not saying that because you're collaborating with me and we're teammates. I'm saying that for you. You will see. Your life will change as soon as you realize that it's okay to have fun. It's not something that will diminish the seriousness of what we do. Having fun is a mindset. We're not fooling around, not doing anything. We're just having fun. And you know what comes with fun is safety. When we are able, Gabe, to create this environment of safety around us, where people can raise their hand and say, I missed, I don't know how to do this, I think I need more help, or I can provide help, I'm available right now. The only way this is going to happen is if you create a safe environment. And a safe environment will exist if people are actually having fun. And sometimes it's harder than others, but you know what? We roll up the sleeves and we go to it. And this is the fourth, not so surprising secret, is to have fun.
And why you leave fun the last one?
Because I kept it for last. I was going to say it's my favorite, but I have only 4 not so surprising secrets, and we have 4 kids at home. And if you were to ask me which one is your favorite, you can't answer that, right? So 4 not so surprising secrets, and having fun is the last one because, well, when you deliver a keynote of 60 minutes, 90 minutes, you need the energy to flow during these 60 minutes. And it's strategically placed around the 45-minute mark because you need a boost there right before the ending. So it could be the first one, but I think you need to start with why. And when you know why you're doing it, you need to be present in the moment, grateful for what is around you, and have fun doing it. So, but you can change the order if you want.
No, but I like it. I was just curious because I know fun is so important, not just for you, but for anyone, for any organization and so on. But indeed, the logic, the logic of the order is so nice. And there was any moment in your life when you use this framework to help you go through not just organizations?
It's May 2011, and I'm invited to go and speak on a stage in Beijing, China. 1,200 participants coming from 20 countries, Gabe. That's it. My dream in life was to be a professional speaker. And here I am, invited to go to China. So there we go. It's like I'm going to the Olympics. That's it. So I take the car and I drive to the airport and I drive by my parents' place and I give them hugs and goodbyes. And my mom tells me, "Oh, we're so proud of you." And my dad tells me, "Finally, you do something with your life." And I fly to the other side of this nice big blue planet and I land at the China World Hotel. And my mom tries to call me. Beep, 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 beep. So I answer the phone and she says, "So, how was your show?" And she calls this a show. So I said, my show is not done. My show is tomorrow morning. Right now I'm facilitating all sorts of other training workshops, but my big show on the big stage is tomorrow. She says, "Oh, okay. Can you call me after your show? because I have something to tell you. And I don't know about you, Gabe, but you know when someone tells you, I have a secret, but I can't tell you, it's like, no, 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 no.
Tell
Come
me now,
on.
Vic.
Come on. Don't do that to me. So I say, what's up, mom? What's happening? And she says, your dad just passed away. And the idea is you can't really do anything about it. What's done is done, right? The only thing that you could do is have people that you love around you and be around people that you love. And the only guy I know back then is Jim Yarish, 6'4" guy from Texas. So I go up to his hotel room. I knock on the door. Jim opens the door and I say, Jim, I need a hug. Weird sentence to say from to a guy from Texas, but Jim takes me in and we talk for an hour. And at some point he says, what are you going to do tomorrow? 1,200 participants. That's a lot of people. You can't break on stage, Martin. I say, wait. I need to go back to my room. I need to reflect. I need to let myself be inspired. So I go back to my room, and this was the year following the Olympics that were held in Vancouver, Canada, at the other end of my country. So, and in these Olympics, we had an Olympic athlete, a figure skating Olympic athlete called Joanie Rochette. And Joanie lost her mother of a heart attack day one of her Olympics, and I'm losing my dad day one of my Olympics. And I decided to do just like Joanie, to follow and live my why. I am here to serve others, not myself. I'm here to inspire these people to be happy, engaged, motivated, to love their job. This is what I'm on a mission. I'm going to deliver. I decided to be present. Joanie was present also. She showed up for practice, for competition. I showed up for sound check, 8 translation booth in the back, sound check, lights, and so on. I was present in the moment, now. I decided to be grateful. Just like Joanie, she decided to be grateful to be at the Olympics on an international stage. I decided to do the same thing. I was with amazing keynote speakers on an international stage. And finally, I decided to have fun. She decided to have so much fun, she actually won a medal. And at the end of my talk, I had people up dancing, and some of the 1,200 were up on their chairs dancing. It was like euphoria. It was crazy. I walked down the stage and Jim is waiting for me, arms open at the bottom of the stairs. And I go into his arms and he tells me, you know what? You didn't do this one alone, Martin. And since then, I know that my father is up there and he's watching me. And he might be watching you too. And with these 4 not so surprising secrets, we can face any headwind that we face in our lives, whether it's professional life, personal life. At some point, you just got to decide to live your why, to be present, to be grateful, and to have fun. And nobody said it was going to be easy. They're simple, but they're not easy to do.
Sometimes I wish I can just stop the conversation to leave these final words that you said for the listeners to just absorb them and realize how impactful they can be into their own lives and the lives of others. But I think I'll do a disservice if I don't ask you where people can find you to be inspired.
Thanks, Gabe. It's, sometimes people say it's the big things in life that will change your life. That's not it. Forget that. It's the small choices that we make on a daily basis. The ones we're making right now, you and I, sitting down, exchanging stories like this. It's the choices the listeners are making right now, listening to us I don't know, somewhere in a bus, in a subway, at work, on a treadmill. I don't know where you are. But these small choices that you're making right now, the ones you're going to make right after, they add up together, and with compound effect that we talked about earlier, they will end up defining who you are, who you become, and the color of your adventure. There are 4 not so surprising secrets. If you let yourself be inspired, sometimes you can inspire others. And either you get to work or you phone me in, and Gabe and I arrive by parachute, and we come and inspire your team. And you can find me at martinlesperance.co. It's a beautiful, beautiful website. Can I say it, Gabe?
Yes, please.
That Gabe built. He is an artist, by the way.
Thank
You
you.
want to revamp a website, you want to take your image to another level, you call Gabe, you send him a DM, and you will have the best website. I don't know if it's best, but who cares? But it's you're going to have a website that represents who you are. So martinlesperance.co, made by Gabe. This is how you find me. And you can find me on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Find me. And who knows, maybe we can bring some Inspire balls your way. This is the best training binder there is, by the way. There are tens of thousands in over 20 countries right now of these
Oh,
Inspire balls. It's the best training binder people receive from a keynote. Seriously, because it hangs around and your eyes go across it, and it brings you back to the not so surprising secrets that we saw together. Gabe, thank you, my friend.
thank you. Thank you, Martin. And cannot appreciate enough your presence here, the message that you deliver, your stories. And I am inspired. So I'm 100% sure that those that stick until the end, they are as well. And for everyone out there, this was Martin Lesperance. And if this conversation made you think differently about how you show up in your life, work, and in everything you do, share it with someone that needs to hear it. And if these are your kind of conversations and want more of them, subscribe. Thank you. And until next week, see you in the wild.